which we know is an inside job. They set it up in order so they can go invade Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan. The list goes on and on and on. This is Babylon. They're just looking for stealing. They just want to steal natural resources from everywhere. When you don't go down the way Babylon the Great say, guess what? Then you become the enemy. Then they're going to call you terrorists. That's how the United States of America operate. You don't go down the agenda. You don't follow down. You don't go by the New World Order. You don't follow the Bilderberg, all the weakness, the summit of Davos, you don't go down with the Rothschild. You don't go by the Lee family, the Morgan family, the Kissinger, the list goes. You don't go by this narrative, then you be called a terrorist. Then you be called the bad guy. Then you be called the bad guy. Right? He said, is called spiritual. Spiritual is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord Yahawashi was crucified. Why? Because the evil they do against us every day in this country. The evil they do, the way they treat us in this country. And guess what? They see they don't care. Right now, is nothing happening. Right now, all their attention is focused on where? Ukraine and Russia. Let's go back here. This is the book of Exodus chapter 1 and verses 10. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply and come to pass that when they fall out any war, they join also unto our enemy and fight against us. And so get them up out of the land. He said, get them up out of the land. So he said, you know what? We want them to be gone. Like the agenda of Margaret Sanger, man. Margaret Sanger said, weed them out. And they said, we don't want the word to go out there. We got to use wisdom to do it. Let's use cunning. And that's Esau. That's the spirit of Esau, Edom. You can't do nothing about it, man. Right? You can't do nothing about it. That's the spirit of Esau, Edom. Right? He said, therefore, they did set over them taskmaster to afflict them. So the Passover has to do with the affliction our people were going. Same thing today. The affliction we're going through. We be vexed in this land, man. We be vexed in this land. We be vexed in this land, man. Brother and sister, so-called African American. The brother that the Mosai brought here, right, from Nigeria, Ghana, they be vexed in this kingdom. Right? Let's continue. You say, well, he said, to afflict them with their burdens, and they built for Pharaoh treasure city. Like those pyramids that you see are for the building. The so-called blacks, Negro, Latino, and Native American, we build those pyramids. That's why no one can build it until this very last day. That's why you see the similitude in Mexico, Guatemala, and what? Bolivia, and Peru, man. They can't build it, even though they got the technology today. Even though they say they got top engineer in civil engineering, still they can't build the pyramid because that secret was given unto the Israelite. It was given unto the Israelite. It's like what? The Ark of Noah, man. The Ark of Noah, guess what? America say they have built a replica. They can't build it, man. You cannot build it. That was given only to who? Our forefather Noah, man. Right? It's a treasure city. They built so many cities for who? For Babylon the Great, for the ancient Egypt, as of today, who built the White House, who built the economy of this country, so-called blacks, Latino, and Native Indian, man, until this very last day, man. The main labor of this country are the so-called blacks, African American, and the so-called Mexican, Salvadoreño, Latino, and Native Indian. Let's go on. You say, well, you say, and they built for Pharaoh treasure city, Pithom and Ramses. Verse 12. But the more they afflict them, the more they multiply and grow. So the more you are afflicting us, we're waking up. You see what is happening right now? This is what is setting them on edge right now. They realize there's so many Hebrew Israelite camps all over. So many Hebrew Israelites waking up everywhere. You got Israelites waking up everywhere. You got video popping up from everywhere, man. They be wanting to say, what's going on? Even though we are afflicting them, guess what? They're waking up. Even though we're throwing them in the jail, guess what? While they're in the jail, the most are moving the spirit. They're watching video of brother. They're watching video from what? GMS. They're watching video from Sakari. They're watching video from IUIC. They're watching video from HOI. They're watching video from what? The Watchmen for Israel. They're watching video from the Son of Thunder. They're watching video from GOCC. They're watching video from the Light of Zion. They're watching video from so many camps, man. I can't even name all the camps, man. They're watching video. Why they be in the jail? The Moses moving the spirit. For the Moses say, you raise up for whatsoever was sold. In the land was said unto them, ye are not the children of God. It shall be said unto them, ye are the son of the living God, YAHAWAH, man. And that's what is setting them on the edge right now. That's why we tell, don't get distracted by the narrative of Ukraine and Russia. Don't worry about that. That's between Russia and Ukraine. Let them deal with it. It's none of our business, man. It's none of our business, man. Right? He said, but the more they afflict them, the more they multiply. So more brother wake up eventually. The more you afflict us, the more you do all the evil you want to do, the more shall wake us up more, man. And they were grieved because of the children of Israel. So right now, America is grieved. Americans are grieved because of the Israel. They call us what? Hate group. They call us the French guy, the French group. They call it all type of name, man. They say we teaching hate. They say we spreading misinformation. They say we ain't got no license to talk about this and that. It's okay. It's okay. It's your kingdom, Esau. That's fine. It's your kingdom. All right? It's okay. Enjoy your kingdom right now. Okay? But it's about to be the end of your kingdom. You see what I'm saying? Let's read it. He said, and they were grieved because of the children of Israel. The same thing happening right now. They grieved because of us. They mad because of the Israelite. That's why we tell you, wake up, repent, and keep the commandment of the Most High. They mad. They don't want to see us keeping the commandment of the Most High. When we keeping the commandment, they don't like it. When we're trying to live a decent life, we're trying to raise our own chicken, eat our fresh eggs, things like that, then they call the police on you. They call the police on you. Meanwhile, they have dirty dogs in the house. They got dirty dogs and dirty cats in the house. Yes, they do got dirty dogs, smelly doggies with like fleas or all type of insect on them, right? Which is considered what? Unclean. Dog is unclean. At least the chicken, the turkey, right? The guinea fowl, they clean. Because they for meat, we can eat them. Can you eat dog? No, because it's abominable. A dog is a whore. They have dog backing all day long. Eat it, that's nothing, it's fine. But you can have chicken. I'm telling you. And you to tell me this is not Babylon the Great? That this place will not be taken down for all the injustice that they do, all the evil they've done against us, for the oppression, everything that they... Oh, come on, bro. He said, and the Egyptian made the children of Israel to serve with rigor. That's when you get pulled over, the police, they don't show no mercy toward blacks and Latino and Native. No, man, they don't show no mercy. Now, if it's their fellow people, right, a so-called white men or Caucasian, yeah, they know how to deal. They'll deal with them nicely. Even though if they need to give them right, they'll give them right. But if it's a so-called black man, Latino and Native, they'll deal with you differently. That's the spirit the Most High had in their heart. That's why they operate like that. You got to understand and be happy for that. When you go through those things, you got to be happy. Thank the Most High, because the Most High had in their heart, as the Most High done with Pharaoh. So you got to rejoice. You got to be happy. You got to rejoice and be happy. Let us continue. And the Egyptian, like the American, made the children of Israel to serve with rigor, right? And they made their lives bitter. That's why the Passover, we must eat the Passover with what? Bitter herbs. Bitter herbs. Bitter leaves. Bitter leaves, bitter herbs. Keep in mind, we've had bondage. Hardcore bondage. It's happening today. You got to work hard. You got to wake up, break your back, your shoulder, right? Everything won't be able to work or do it. And guess what? Guess what happened? Guess what? They take your taxes and go give it to other people. Your hard work money after you broke your back. Some brothers don't even have health insurance. Some sisters don't even have health insurance. Is the system set it up like that? The system set it up like that. Let's continue. In mortar and in brick and in all manner of service in the field, cotton field, sugar cane, corn, tomato, watermelon, cantaloupe, and the list goes on and on and on. And the list goes on and on and on. All right? You see, in the field, all their service wherein they made them serve was with rigor, was with what? Rigor. So keep in mind, they didn't, listen, they didn't have no mercy. No. They said, you know what? We make sure that we put this heavy burden upon them. We make sure we put this heavy burden upon them. Keep in mind, this ain't no joke, brother and sister. Let's go right here. Let's jump to verses. Let's jump to verses 15. This is the book of Ezra, chapter 1 and verse 15. And the king of Egypt, Pharaoh, right, spake to the Hebrew midwives, right, of which the name of the one was Shiphrah, and the name of the other Puah. And he said, when you do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew woman, to the Israeli woman, to the so-called African American woman, to the so-called Latina woman, to the so-called Native Indian woman, and see them upon the stool, so they're about to give birth, when they come to the hospital and they're about to give birth, okay, if it be a son, if it be a son, if it be a boy, okay, then ye shall kill him. What did I say to do? Then you shall kill him. This was happening in ancient Egypt. It's happening today. It's happening today here in Babylon the Great. Same thing. Now, those people who train them, the same Edomite who train them about what they do in the building of Nimrod, what do they, who train them? Same devils train them. Let's continue. But if it be a daughter, if it's a girl, there we go, then she shall live. But if it's a boy, he must be put to death. You see, it's nothing new under the sun. They were using black baby as what? Alligator bait, crocodile bait. You can look it up, man. Look it up yourself. But the midwives fear Yahawah. That's what we tell you. If you're working for Esau, you're working for Babylon the Great, keep in mind that if you're doing anything that goes against the law, the commandment of the Most High, then you're putting your life into jeopardy. The Most High will cut you off. You're going to get destroyed. The Most High will destroy you. Keep in mind, listen, it doesn't matter whether you believe it or not. The Most High will bring judgment. You see, these midwives, they fear the Most High. Now, if your job does not allow you to fear the Most High, when you know that this thing is bad for the brother and the sister, and you see, go ahead and give it to the brother because of your job, hey, listen, you're going to have to go, man. You're going to have to go. You're going to have to pay for that. You're going to have to pay, man. It is what it is. If it's my brother doing it, hey, the Most High got to bring judgment upon him. If it's my sister, the Most High got to bring judgment upon my sister. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. If it's my father, if my father pushing for that, if my father know very well that this thing is detrimental, is going to kill this brother, is going to kill my neighbor's son and daughter, and he still go ahead and do it, guess what? Judgment got to come upon him, man. Right? Let's read it. But the midwives fear Yahawah. Do your midwives, do they fear the Most High? They don't. They're just there for the money. Your midwife, your nurses, they're just there for the money. Right? It did not as the king of Egypt commanded. They didn't obey the voice of Pharaoh. Today they just obey just for the money. You know, I'm just doing my job. You know, my job just told me. So your job telling you to kill people, so you go ahead and you kill the people. Wow. Okay. Is that your job? All right, fine. Your job telling you to stress people up, put stress, things like that, and you think you're just doing your job? You may want to, right, rethink again, meditate, pray, ask the Most High to help you get a better job. When you don't have to be doing evil, be in the midst of sin continually. So your life can be spared. When the Most High bring fire, brimstone, judgment, right? Fire on Babylon the Great. It did not as the king of Egypt commanded them, but save the men children alive. They saved the men children alive. You know who did this? Same thing. Where did the Pharaoh, the Egyptian, learn it from? They learned it from the Cushite Nimrod. They learned it from Nimrod. I had a video on it. You can go watch the video. Go on my YouTube page, 12TOI. You can watch it, man. About the birth of Abraham. Before Abraham was born, guess what? Nimrod, he killed over 77,000 baby or 70,000 baby. Nimrod killed 70,000 baby, man. It's nothing new. What did Pharaoh learn from? The Egyptian. They learned it from the Ethiopian. They learned it from the Cushite. He said, but save the men children alive. And the king of Egypt called for the midwives and said unto them, why have you done this thing and have saved the men children alive? So the king was mad. He said, why did you do this, man? And the midwives said unto Pharaoh, they said unto the king, okay, that's what we're letting you know. Your job is telling you to do evil, right? Your job is telling you to do evil. Guess what? You need to rethink about your job, right? Because the Hebrew women are not as the Egyptian woman, for they are lively. You say, man, they're lively. And I deliver ere the midwives come in unto them. You say, they already give birth to the baby before even we come unto them. They don't need no midwife. They don't need no nurses. They don't need no. No, you say,